1. Sound.
Does it open? That's, yeah. Thank you. Morning, everybody. Welcome to our Committee for Procedures meeting Wednesday the 9th of October. Members, as usual, the committee meeting will be recorded and broadcast throughout Parliament buildings and online. Members are welcome to use your mobile phones as long as they're in airplane mode and all devices are muted. It's not permitted to take photographs or record any of the meeting. Any members have any interest to declare today for today's meeting? No. Just to confirm, we'll run through the agenda. It's quite a busy one today. We have online with us William Irwin and Cara Hunter. We have apologies today from our Deputy Chair Sinead Ennis. Any other apologies today?
Just a slight challenge for me. I'm opening an event in the Long Gallery around about, I need to be about 11:15, but I can drop back down. Okay. If that's okay, thank you, Chair.
We'll wrap, I think, actually we're quart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So, yeah, that's grand. We'll try and work through this as quickly as possible, Robbie, then, so that you can get the majority of what our decisions are. So, members, draft minutes are at pages 5 to 8 of the meeting pack. Are members content with the minutes of the meeting that was on the 25th of September? If you're agreed, then I'll sign those. Thank you very much. Right. There we go, thank you very much. Agenda item 3 is matters arising. Items 1 and 2 are responses from the First Minister and Deputy First Minister and from the First Legislative Council on priority areas of work from the committee. Members, prior to the review of strategic priorities session on the 25th of September, the committee sent a reminder letter to the First Minister and Deputy First Minister inviting views and suggestions on priority areas of work for the committee. A response which reflects the views of ministerial colleagues has now been received and can be found at pages 10 to 17 of the meeting pack. Reflects actually what we have thought. So the First Minister and Deputy First Minister has highlighted the Assembly's arrangements for oral and written questions, including priority written questions and operational questions on arm's length bodies. As an area the committee should focus on. Other issues raised include the duration of the committee stage of a bill and the need for fully costed members' bills. We had already discussed oral questions, and I know at our strategic away day we had mentioned, I know Trevor had mentioned the written questions. I think the issues that have been raised are, they're reasonable. We would have to do quite a bit of work on the written questions, and the duration of the committee stage of a bill and fully costed members' bills, that's a slightly different matter. I think that might be a bit of a stretch for us to get to, but also then just to say the First Legislative Council has replied separately. His responses are at pages 18 to 20 of your meeting pack. The response sets out 5 issues relating to primary legislation process. One of these is to expand the opportunity for corrective or tidying arrangements from the executive, possibly at final stage, for the purpose of ensuring high quality legislation for enactment, and that would require changes to standing orders. The First Legislative Council has indicated he'd be happy to brief the committee either formally or informally on the issues outlined in his correspondence, including those which he is discussing with the Bills Office and the Speaker's Office, if that would be helpful. So, members, the lists of potential work areas for the committee will be updated to reflect the issues raised in the correspondence received. The report of the review for the committee's priorities session will be on the agenda for the meeting on the 23rd of October, when further consideration can be given to the issues raised before the committee ratifies its key priority areas for the areas of work for the next 9 months. So I'm just asking at this stage members to note the correspondence from the First and Deputy First Minister and from the First Legislative Council in advance of further consideration of the committee's priority areas, which we'll look at on the 23rd of October. It's just so we're aware of what others have asked us, and that's what we've received so far. So Moving on then, if you're happy to note that, yes? Yeah. Agenda item 4, moving on to this big piece of work, which is the proxy voting.
Committee Room 21. Sound. Committee Room 21. Sound.
Thank you very much. No. So we'll just wait a few moments until they're back,
Good, I think.
back in public session.
Give a thumbs up there. No.
We're back into open session. Members, thank you very much. We're moving now to agenda item 8, which is our forward work programme. You can find the forward work programme at page 194 of your meeting pack. Members, following the review of the committee's strategic priorities on the 25th of September, further discussion and ratification of the committee's key priority areas of work for the next 9 months is due to take place at the meeting on the 23rd of October. Following which the programme, or the forward work programme, will be revised to reflect the priorities selected. Members, do you agree the work programme, unless you have anything else that you need to add in or any clarification? Agreed? Thank you. Members, a potential committee visit to the Scottish Parliament in late November or early December to discuss some of the committee's key priorities area of work with MSPs, Scottish Parliament officials and the Standards and Procedures and Public Appointments Committee was discussed at the review session on the 25th of September, and the committee clerks were asked to obtain further information on options for the visit. And Stella, I'm just going to refer to you then if you could provide that detail.
Okay, so I've been in contact with officials in Scotland, and I'd asked them what the date in the end of November into December would be most suitable. So the only date that they can host this incoming visit is Wednesday the 4th or Thursday the 5th of December. Okay, so they're very happy to put a programme together. The programme will cover everything the committee wants to look at. It'll cover proxy voting of the other types that they have, electronic voting, First Minister's question time, and substitute members on other committees. We're looking to have individual meetings with their party whips so that you can, as members, speak to their party whips about how does this work in practice, how do members experience this, things like that, as well as hoping to try and fit in a meeting with their presiding officer and a meeting with our counterpart committee as well.
Mm-hmm. Can I check then if the First Minister's questions, did you say there, which day is that on?
I think it's the Thursday.
Thursday.
I'll check that for you. It is separate.
Yeah.
So they do their question time to their other ministers, bit like ourselves, one after the other, there's two but it's 12 noon, and I think it's on the Thursday.
I think they do it on various days.
And
So
the First Minister's question time is taken separately and treated separately.
So if we wanted to include that in this visit, we would need to be over.
It'll need to be there Wednesday and Thursday. Yes, go over early Wednesday and come back probably on the early evening flight on the Thursday. There's also an opportunity, hopefully, to see decision making time. That's at 5 o'clock, and to see a vote, hopefully an electronic vote in action. One of the things, I don't know who was there in the chamber, Danny, you weren't in the chamber a couple of weeks ago when we looked at electronic voting. One of the things that came out was that the Scottish Parliament now don't use that system that we saw. During COVID, they went for an app, so that members could come in and vote remotely, because and they've maintained that system, so they now vote by app. They still have the system and they use it for indicating that they want to speak, so the top table can see that they want to speak, but they actually now vote using an app. That incorporates proxy voting as well.
Literally on their phones?
Literally on their phones, and that includes if they're in the chamber, so they can vote in the chamber using the app as well. So it'll be, hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to, not just to other MSPs, but also to some officials about how that all works as well. So that would be Wednesday. We'd be going out early on the Wednesday morning and coming back late on the Thursday evening. Not late, but early evening. It would be after tea time.
What's early on the Wednesday morning?
I think that I've got again off this at
The red eye.
this down. Let me see. I'll get it up for you. I haven't got it here, but I'll send it to you. But I've looked at the early flight, so it would be. I think it's like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's near 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a travel for
I
yourself.
have it written down. Just I haven't got it in here. So see if I can find it.
I'm back on the Thursday at what time?
It would be. Let me see. Here we go. Get it up on here. So the departure would be 8:20. You arrive in the morning, 8:20 in the morning on Wednesday the 4th, and you arrive at 9:10. And coming back, we'd look at the 6:30 flight coming back. That get you back in at 7:20.
That's the international.
That's it, international. Yes, that's the international
Yeah.
flight.
It's very early o'clock. Yeah. Members, at this stage, the opportunities there, and as Stella has said, there's one pair of dates that really suits our Scottish colleagues. So now we have that detail. Trevor and William, well, Cara, I see, has dropped off. We'll share that with her and make sure that Robbie has that. But we need to know numbers for people that are going over, so we can get arrangements set up.
So if you're content with the 4th and 5th of December, then if I can have numbers, I can send you out another email just to let you know the details, and you can come back to me that way, if that's okay.
But in order to get the flights and everything booked with the number of us, if we could come back as soon as possible, please. Yeah.
And just a further question, and booking flights and so on, whenever you go to Scotland, you use your passport?
Yes, I think it's better. I think to use your passport. I can check that out. Maybe you can use your some kind of other ID, but I'll double check out.
Internal passports, that's Gaeilge.
Yeah.
Right.
Fine.
Internal UK flights, I think.
Yeah.
Just photo ID.
Yeah, photo ID. Yes.
Yeah.
No matter what passport.
It doesn't matter what passport you have. For that.
No, it's not just an Irish passport, it's Gaeilge.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, we're going to the right place.
Difficult with that
It's
in
in
previous occasions.
Okay.
Can I double check then, just for clarifications, then will you guys arrange the flights for those that have agreed that are going and,
Yes.
and the accommodation? So we're not booking that separately.
No,
ourselves?
I'll once we know who's going, and once we got the final programme through, I'll bring back to the committee a memo explaining everything, because I'll need the committee to agree the costs and the programme. So once the programme and the costs and the details are all arranged, we will then move ahead and book. But,
Trevor, you want to come in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm content with what Stella said, except on the return flight, I'd rather the one that's probably slightly later than that, because the time we get our business done, it'll be a bit of a rush to get to the airport for that, and that's hitting rush hour as well.
Yeah, okay, so there is a later flight at 7:30, Trevor, gets you in at 8:20, but that's the last flight at the good prices. There is alternative flights going in and out of the city airport, but they are 4 and 5 times the price. So
And even they weren't, it wouldn't be handy for some of us who's going to be parked at International, then to get from the city over to International. So, but certainly that slightly later flight into the International's fine.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I will bring those back.
Dana, you indicated.
Just to highlight, myself and earlier both members of the Health Committee that meets on Thursday at 2.
Yeah. So you won't be back for that. That's one of the things that you'll be away for 2 days. Anybody who's on a committee for a Wednesday or
I'm
Thursday
on
committee.
communities on a Thursday morning, so
Yeah. One of the things that we do, once it's agreed, we will be actually sending a memo to the committees that you are on, just letting them know that you'll be on if you're going. Yeah.
William, you've indicated.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a function in Stormont that night, a reception, so on the Thursday night at 6:30, so it won't suit myself. Don't worry about that.
Well, William, we could, if necessary, there is a flight at 2:00, and if you wanted to try and get that flight separately by yourself, we could arrange for you to leave early and get a taxi. So I'll bring that option back as well for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And then, sorry, just if will depend on the Health Committee, if me and Danny are able to make it, the earlier flight home will probably suit me, the 6:30 on the Thursday, just with the baby.
Okay, yes,
So
of course.
it's not, I know others, it might suit them for the later flight, but just FYI, I'll feed this back in the email.
We can arrange, if William wants to go back, I'll bring back the 3 options for return flights, and if necessary we can organise 3 different taxis taking people back at 3 different times. Okay, so
I'm going and I'm staying the whole time. Purely because I don't think as chair I could really leave if we're meeting other people and things like that. But certainly for others, I know that I'm on committee for communities on a Thursday morning, but thankfully I have another colleague with me this time, and it's official business, so it's just one.
And hopefully once we see the programme and we can see what is actually what they've slotted in for us on the Thursday afternoon, it'll give us a better sense of what flights may be more appropriate.
And I think just given the fact that we will need to book them as soon as possible, because it's into the Christmas period and I'm sure it'll be a bit chaotic.
It will be.
We want to save costs, so we'll make sure if Stella sends
and
out the details.
hotels are already really hard to find. So
so if we can get back to Stella, the guys here, as quickly as possible, that would be great. But Stella, you're going to send out the options.
I'll send out an email, and if people can get back to me with the details. You don't have to choose which flight you're coming back on now. We'll look at those later. But if you can come back with, at least if you want to attend, it'll enable me then to bring back a programme with costs, because the committee have to approve the costs. Okay.
So, as said, the draft programme and costings for the visit will be prepared for consideration and agreement at the meeting on the 23rd of October. But when you've got that information through from Stella, if you could indicate your preferences for travel, etc. So, agenda item 9 then, if we can move on. Correspondence. The Committee on Standards and Privileges has provided a copy of a letter it sent to the Assembly parties and an independent MLA on potential procedural changes to provide it with the role in adjudications on complaints against ministers of alleged breaches of the Ministerial Code of Conduct. The correspondence can be found at page 197 to 204 of the meeting pack. Members, any agreed procedural changes to the role of the Committee on Standards and Privileges will require changes to standing orders, and that committee will liaise with this committee as necessary in due course. So I'm just asking you to take note on that. We don't know what they're going to be bringing forward yet, or exactly what it is. When that happens, we'll see what work we have to do on that. Just asking you all to note. Is that okay? Yeah. Agenda item 10, Chairperson's Business. I've already updated you on the meeting that Sinead and I both had on Monday with the other chairperson and deputy chairperson of that committee. But there's no other chairperson's business at this stage. Members, have you any other business you wish to bring up under agenda item 11? Not hearing anything. So agenda item 12, date, time and place of next meeting. The meeting of the committee is scheduled to take place on Wednesday, the 23rd of October at 10 a.m. in room 21. And just to remind members that the introduction of proxy voting for parental leave will be in the chamber on the 22nd of October. We haven't seen what time it'll be on at, but if anybody needs any information, I'm sure they can get in contact if they wish to speak on that. I think there's cross-party support, so we'll see how that goes. It will have to be cross-community vote on that, so that'll be on the 22nd of October. That's it, members. Thank you very much. We can now close the meeting.
Committee Room 21. Sound.